chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays offside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benny. Sills.
Hello and welcome to this week's Gull'S Eye View. I'm joined by Tom and Clive. We're doing a two-parter this week. Part one, we'll be focusing on the games, and in part two, well, we've got Alan to talk about his charity bike ride. We're going to talk about off-the stuff as well, and look forward to Dorking. So we're back to two-parters this week. Overall, I'm really happy. I'm really happy actually with how things going. 6 points, so we're really taking that at the start. 7 would be nice, or 9 obviously, but where we are, I'm really happy. Obviously, we'll talk about the Bath game, which we want to talk about more. But we're going to start at Farnborough. I think we'll go back to on Saturday. Really close game. I wasn't there to right. Clive, what were your thoughts about Farnborough at the weekend?
I thought it was a wake-up call, to be honest with you. I thought that Farnborough were quicker and better than us in the first half. Watton said he was pleased with the second half recovery. He made 3 substitutions, I think, at half time because he was obviously very unhappy with them. But it was a wake-up call. Farnborough have gone on to win their third game as well, so they've got 100% record. But we didn't really have them certainly as title contenders at the start of the season. I thought last night was a bit of a slog also. So it's kind of interesting, and I think it might lower people's expectations a little bit if they had been too high.
Yeah, I think it was a disappointing performance after the good win we had against Enfield and the performance we put in there. I think we're doing Farnborough a little bit of a disservice. I think they've got a really good football side there, quite stable football club on an upward trajectory. It was always going to be a tough ask. Absolutely. It was going to be a very tough ask, but it was great to see. I reckon we had almost half the crowd there. It was just yellow army everywhere. Of course, Farnborough also wear yellow, so
yeah, that was.
I mean, the one thing you can't lack at the moment is for all 3 games, the Yellow Army have been absolutely magnificent. And it was nice to meet up with the Borough Pod and finally meet them in person. And, I wish them well for the season. But yeah, it was just disappointing. First half, we just really weren't at the races. Farnborough, they controlled the midfield battles well and prevented us from really making any momentum forward. And then when we did, Musa was rather wasteful with his crossing. And although he was our sort of creative outlet, he was just really poor with his final ball into the box. We didn't look like scoring. Second half, obviously they had a bit of a bollocking, and we came out a bit better. Obviously we benefited that Farnborough decided to sit back on what they had for the last half hour. And we probably should have got a point out of it. We had some really good chances. Keeper made a couple of good saves. Carson got close a couple of times. It was just one of those. I think it was just one of those days where a draw probably would have been a fair result. But when you look on reflection, new team, new football club in retrospect, it's a tough start on paper. So to get 6 points from 9, I think I would have taken that if you'd have offered that to me. But I think people need to manage expectations, as Clive said. And I think it's just about not panicking too much. There were a couple of boos at full time, which I thought was a bit harsh personally. You don't win or lose anything this early into the season. You've just got to just stick with it, Yellow Army. I mean, God, would you rather be run how we were last season, for goodness sake? So stay calm is my advice to the Yellow Army. For a new team, we're going to have performances like that, aren't we? We're going to be a little bit inconsistent at times. Farnborough are a good football side at this level. So yes, disappointing result. However, Football League syndrome, but backed up by a good performance on Tuesday, which I'm sure Clive will tell us all about in a minute. But also nice as well to have that full circle moment with you, Clive, with the yellow cards, and we've got our club
Good,
back.
wasn't it? Yeah,
Fantastic, wasn't it? So just to have that moment as well, that's what I take away from Farnborough.
Just for those that don't know, Farnborough in February, so 2 days before Johnson spat the dummy, as it were. Tom and I were involved with many others in trying to get a bit of a protest organised. So we were handing out these yellow cards to fans at Farnborough. Obviously, we had a photo taken with our coats on, and we had our photos taken with big smiles on our faces and the same cards, modified a bit. So where it said, "We want our club back," it's now, "We have our club back." It was lovely. Yeah, really, really good that. So have a look on X or Twitter or whatever social media platform floats your boat. You'll be able to see the 2 photos.
You'll be able to see it. They're great photos. And I think you're right. It's a full circle moment. And if I'm honest, I think what we haven't been able to do for a while is there's a difference between the playing of the results and the club. And for ages, both of them, I got so used to going, it's all in one. Like the problems on the pitch relate to the problem on the. But now I got really almost a bit like, what? When I had that couple, apparently it was always going to be a couple. Everyone's allowed their opinions. I always do talky talk to say, even if I disagree with it, you're allowed your opinion as long as it's done in the right way. But for me, I'm like, how can you be really miserable at the moment? But then I suddenly realized, actually, no, you can still be a bit annoyed. Of course, you can be annoyed that we've lost, and you can still be annoyed at any point over the next 5 years about on the pitch, while still being grateful for what the football club is. So I think for a lot of Torquay fans, a lot of people, I was like, what are you moaning? But I was like, well, you can still moan. You can still moan and not be like, oh, you were grateful we didn't have a club in it. Well, we are very grateful for Westcott and everyone, and it's amazing. And we're going to talk a lot more about them this week. So it's just going to be like a weekly update of great things that the club's doing. But at the end of the day, we're all here. Westcott's everyone there. Everyone's there. Wotton's there to win games. And we know it's about managing expectations. I'm definitely with it. Give it 10 games. And this is quite a tough start. Farnborough are a very well-structured team. There's been a bit of a thing about the dark arts. Now, for me, dark arts isn't a bad thing. Dark arts is gamesmanship. They know they're solid, and then that wins you games. It's not a bad thing if someone's calling it dark arts. Because I know if you're talking fans a bit like about Paul Witten, that just means you're well-structured and fair play to you. Farnborough are very good team, but also Torquay didn't raise their game in the first half, as Clive said, and that is a wake-up call. But at any level of football, if you switch off, you're going to lose. But even you might think, oh, Torquay, we've got the momentum. That means nothing if the team isn't going to perform on a day, and that's not anything against what they've achieved so far. I think 6 points and the win last night was brilliant. Because I'm going to talk a bit more about the shape and why the shape side to get that bit right is so important, and why Wootton has got that right, and why the rest of it will come afterwards. We'll speak about it in a minute, but we'll stick on Farnborough. That game could have gone either way as well, let's be honest. But Farnborough won the game, and as Mark White said on our other podcast, that it's about how many goals you score at the end of the day, and we need to be creating a bit more, I think, at times and finishing them off. But still, what I love about the game and about Wootton's interview is how, and I'll say this many times this season, how mentally intelligent that man is, how he gets it. His interviews are amazing. Look, you don't win points on your interviews, but I just feel so. This what he was saying about the Farnborough game after the game, and then after the Bath game. Players were low, but they got back at it. And I thought last night, look, it wasn't the most quality at times, of course not. But we've got to be realistic where we are. We're a National League South club at times as well. I thought the way that we set up last night, our passing was a bit poor at times. But because we're so well set up, and I think Bath are going through a little bit of transition, but then I still expect them to be near the playoffs. I thought we were really impressive. For a long time, I didn't feel really not like at ease, if that makes sense. I think our defence is so well structured, and James Heyman is such a good goalkeeper as well. So I take a well-structured squad, and obviously a club that's performing brilliantly off the pitch. I'll take that as such a good start. And if we get, I want to win against Dorking. A win against Dorking's fantastic. A draw, it's okay. And then we can kick on from 7 or 9 points on to the next games. And then I'm going to raise my expectations a bit. I think I'll be delighted. I've just realised I've literally just taken over this podcast from my own now. But Clive, Bath away. I streamed it.
Yeah,
you went again. What did you think?
I didn't share your calmness about last night at all.
Wasn't calm in the last 20.
No, it wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. We scored an early goal. We started really well, and that was a big difference from Farnborough. Yeah. They got back into it just before half time, and their striker missed an absolute sitter on the half time whistle.
How he didn't connect.
They also, I felt, started the second half stronger as well, and our magnificent far post set piece header from Ed Palmer in front of the away fans. That was a wonderful moment, but it was slightly against the run of play, to be honest. We should have killed the game from then, and we didn't do that either. They had a winger, at least one winger, going down. They attacked us down the flanks quite effectively. Yes, we let a goal in. I did look up at the floodlights with about 5 minutes to go, and I thought, this doesn't feel as though it's going to go wrong. that's just a daft sort of sixth sense type
The
thing.
time did go
Um,
quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It was very helpful that they committed a daft challenge. Torquay were breaking. We'd only got about 35 yards, and they decide to haul our striker down. Of course, everybody goes mental and wants him sent off. Complete rubbish.
Yeah.
But that stoppage went on for a couple of minutes, and that was within a 5-minute injury time window. So we killed it off quite well. But actually, over the piece, I do think we were just about worthy of the win because I thought we had better quality, but I don't think it was comfortable. And I just think that's where we are. I think we're going to have to scrap every week. And the weeks we don't scrap, we're really going to struggle. So it's good in that respect, I think, that we've got the manager that we have.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm so impressed with Paul Wotton. Tom, thoughts? Anything to add?
Not much because I got called into work and missed the entire game, and then I've just been relying on the highlights. Although Bath's highlights, absolutely top class, like absolute brilliant. That's the standard that all non-league clubs at our level should be setting. Brilliant. Yeah, no, I think the goals, the first one comes from a defensive mistake, but it's put in well by Cody Cook. And then the second one, Ed Palmer has done so well to get there. The defenders pulling him all over the place. And, maybe he might have got a penalty had he missed it or gone down. But no, he stood strong, got the header in, scenes in the away end. I mean, it was just good to watch. And,
What a photo by
it wouldn't,
Dennis.
it wouldn't, yeah, it wouldn't be a Torquay performance, though, without a little bit of worry with the last 15 minutes or so. But from gathering from what I've heard from people who were there, we just about edged it. It was a gritting performance. We weren't spectacular. Maybe we benefited a little bit with Bath having a couple of injuries to their fullbacks, I believe. But you know what? We've had a really good mix from our first three games. We've had a game we should have romped against Enfield at home. We should have scored 5 or 6. Then we've had the challenging one and come off, short at Farnborough. And then we've had to put in a bit of a performance at Bath and rebound and grit our teeth a little bit. And we've done that as well. So, overall, it's a very good win because we never win at Bath. We've always lost there from memory. So,
17
and
years.
yeah, but again, the Yellow Army, what was it, 675 they announced this morning or something that they're fantastic. And, Paul Wotton referenced, the fans, how brilliant they are and reminded the players how fortunate they are playing for us. And it's true, it's not arrogance, but we are a big club at this level and a lot of clubs are going to up their game against us. Look, Farnborough, their manager was, he was raving about us and, how big of a moment it was for Farnborough for playing us and beating us there. So again, it's that going above that mental aspect of, these teams, even though we're at the same level, we have got to approach it a little bit like they're gunning for us because we are a big name. And although you've got all these good National League South teams this season, like Dorking, Boreham Wood, etc., no game's going to be easy at this level, but to get 6 from 9, I'll take that 100% with the start we've had. And, if we can get a draw against Dorking, of course, we'd all like to win, but, that would represent a really good start for me if we can get something against Dorking and then take that on going forward. But no, look, it was a performance I was hoping for. It was good that we showed a bit of mental bottle and to come away with victory. Really good because the teams of the past probably would have let that slip. But big shout out to Super James Hammond in goal. He's been brilliant, hasn't he, for the first 3 games, hasn't he? Absolutely magnificent in front of the sticks.
The way he just it's, I always say it, my classic line is from this year again. It's not just about goalkeeping, saving it, we're keeping it. It's about chance prevention, coming out and claiming those crosses, punching the crosses away. So much of it, and he's such a positive keeper. And it just shows more than any position, games, playing games. He's gone away, played 5 years or so at Truro, and it just shows totally competent goalkeeper. So yeah, no, it's I'm really, really happy. The other point I was going to say, you talk about teams up in the game. Well, last night was what we needed to. We managed the game. We managed the occasion. That start completely changed the game. If we let them get on, I'm not going to sit here and say it's like a cup game, but you do see some games in the Premier League where, like Leicester and Tottenham was one the other day, where it did feel a little bit like a cup game at the start, where Tottenham completely did it, and then they let that sort of slip where Torquay really sort of controlled it. If they let Bath come on for the last 20 minutes, it'll be a totally different game because we controlled, even though again we got the goal a bit later on and we just felt quite professional. We just felt a little bit ahead of it. And that's really important because I noticed a lot of commentators and a lot of people will say it. Oh, Torquay a full-time team, and that gives them an advantage. Yeah, well, I understand, but it's not really just about that. It's about how good your management is, because as we all know, Torquay have lost and been embarrassed and out tactics by, that's not even a word, but I've made it a word, by so many part-time teams over the last few years, not just in the South, in the National League as well. It's about what you make out of it. It's about what you make of your setup. And Paul Watson is already doing that. And I'm so impressed. Also, it's a results game. If we had lost last night, it'd been a bit of the shine would have gone a little bit, wouldn't it? So that win was really, really important. I was really impressed. A bit of a statement, I think. Not to the
It
league as such,
absolutely
but just
would.
to us.
It absolutely would, because
Yeah.
it would have made it look as though we can't play away.
Mm.
And a little fun fact for you on that is that the two goal scorers last night are both our only two part-time footballers.
Yes.
We're told there's not much difference. We're told there's only
It's
one
like one
training
day.
session difference.
A 2-hour training session or something.
Yeah, but Palmer and Cook are the two part-timers. So props to them. Well done.
We need everyone to be part-time. Is that what you're saying, Kai?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're totally right. It's a really, really good point. And yeah, what a finish by Cook. Really happy for him to get his first goals against the former team, but really happy to get, so important with a striker, isn't it? Lovely finish. And you look at both those goals and you look at any level of football, a goal is some form of mistake. Right, I always think when you score at some point, but they were avoidable from Bath's point of view. But then if you watch the League Two highlights, I was shocked when I looked the other day how many mistakes are in football. You think when you go League Two, but that's what football is. It's almost like bring those mistakes out. And that's why those two goals happened. Yes, Bath didn't defend them as well as they would have hoped, but we got the ball in those positions. And that ball, that I said about set pieces, that ball was in the right position before. If you're putting that set piece out for a goal kick, you're not getting an opportunity. If you're hitting the wall, you'll find the keeper's hands. And same with that first goal, that was a lovely cutback. If you're not putting the ball in the right positions, you're not going to force those mistakes and get those goals. So, sometimes it looks, football's quite an easy game at times. I always say this, like the pass and the moving, just do the basics right and you'll go a long way. And that's what Torquay are doing. And hopefully the rest will sort of come with it and we'll keep creating chances. But yeah, as we say, I'm really happy with last night. And what a lovely moment as well for seeing the Bryn Consortium in the away end. A lot of people were there. Jim Proudfoot was there, and Charlie Baker and all these people. Adrian Durham was there as well. So it was just really nice to see people enjoy it. And yeah, I'm really, really, really delighted. Anything you want to add before we move over to part two? Anything you want to add?
I think it's great with Westcott and the Bryn Consortium that they're supporting the travel club, and they've made a fantastic offer. I think they've put some money in, so the tickets for Chesham, I think, for the coach travel are £5 cheaper. You bought them all bacon rolls on the coach coming up to Farnborough. It's just, he gets it. They just get it, don't they? The fan base, they just all get it, how important we are to this football club. And it's great that we finally got people in charge who care about the fans, don't fob us. We're more than just customers to them. We are all a part of Torquay United Football Club in one way or another, and I think it's fantastic. And long may it continue. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Keep doing what you're doing, Michael, and the Bryn Consortium. It's fantastic.
It's lovely, yeah. I mean, Michael was walking around amongst the fans at Farnborough, wasn't he, on Saturday, just making himself known, pressing the flesh. I mean, the guy would win an election in a heartbeat, wouldn't he? he knows what he's doing, and he does it very well. But we know because of his family history with Torquay and his own history, we know that it comes from the heart, and it's brilliant to see. On the subject of bacon rolls, catering last night, first class, well done. Little gazebo in the corner, excellent beef burgers, well done, Bath City.
Better than your EasyJet bacon roll.
That's true.
Oh, I've bigged up your catering, Tom. It's all right, mate. It's not too bad.
I'll take that.
Well, there we are. So that will bring an end to part one. We've got the catering reviews in. Any for Farnborough? Any catering reviews for Farnborough?
It was okay. It was all right. The burgers were pretty standard, but chips were absolutely banging.
My diet was largely liquid that afternoon, but it was fine. Thank you, Farnborough. Very good. Very good.
Well done. So bring
very
all the
good
reviews.
Very good supply of bins as well. There was a prominent wheelie bin in the away end, which That's a joke some people will get, and I'm not going to explain.
Well, there we are. So thank you very much for watching part one. We're going to go and do part two. And yeah, we'll see you then.
Here's Hargreaves, chance for Torquay. Chris Hargreaves, the captain. If he stays onside, Carlisle checks instead. He's looking for Benyon. Sells.